Greetings, Eric the Red here. This is Crypto for the Caffeinated, and it is new card day. So what I have here is probably the most powerful AMD card that I have for my system to date. This is another of ASUS's dual line. This one is an RX 580. Specifically, this is a 4 gig 580. Although on the back of the box it says it's an 8 gig. So maybe we got lucky and got an 8 gig instead. That'd be pretty neat. So yeah. For those of you that have been following the channel, you know that I've got 3 560s as far as AMD cards go, and that's pretty much it. So jumping right over 570, going right to my first 580. This will be going into my AMD rig, which is so jam-packed full, I have no idea how I'm going to fit it in here, but we're going to try, and that's what we're going to do today. And because of the additional power requirements that this card is going to take, we are also going to be replacing the 600 watt power supply that's been doing its job dutifully with a 750 watt power supply. And this is the last card that I will be attempting to cram into this case. I will be soon sourcing parts for another open air rig to mine right alongside the JANK-ASS. So we're gonna have the JANK-ASS NVIDIA and the JANK-ASS AMD. But for now, let's get this in here, let's get this mining, get those Satoshis up. So yeah. But first, let's unbox the card. Let's unbox the card. So as I said, this is my first big AMD card. So, long overdue, if you ask me. Because I already have a dual card, 1060 6 gig, I'm expecting the build on this to be comparable. Well, it's sandwiched in there much thicker. And there we have the card. And of course, under the rest of the foam, we have our driver disc and, I assume, warranty card. Alright, let's get this thing out of the anti-static condom and take a look at it. Bagged horizontally. Okay. And there we are. It's not a bad looking card. It's not as Stormtrooper looking as the 1066 gig was. Yeah, it's still, though, I mean, it's absolutely plastic, but this is a value card through and through. It's not trying to be anything that it's not. There is no backplate, so oh well, you got to save money somewhere. Let's see. And the heat pipes on this card are along the bottom, where you connect it to the board, as opposed to up at the top, like with the 1060 card. So it's kind of like they took that sink and inverted it. But so those are steel or some sort of chrome-plated metal heat pipes. They aren't copper, but again, you got to save money somewhere. This is a full power card, so we do have an 8-pin right here for that additional power. And because this is a more powerful card, what I'm actually going to do is see if I can't. So
I have to pee.
Okay. I'm wondering, just for power and space reasons, if I can't fit this right in there. But I mean, rather than use a riser, but I know this guy's going to generate a lot more heat. So I'm thinking he's going to ride on the roof with his friend from the NVIDIA rig, who can no longer fit in the NVIDIA rig. It's just a 1052 gig single fan that I made work in the top of this. It's bizarre. I'll show you when it's back up and running, but it's bizarre. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I have one more riser left that's not being used, so I'm going to mount this guy on the roof just to save myself some hassle and some headache. So let's get to work removing the old power supply and then set this up and get to bed at a decent hour. Trust me, if I had the money, I'd go modular, but I don't. So we're gonna snake this bitch in here and see what happens. That's brisk. So I thought I had a 600 watt power supply in here. I had a 500 watt power supply running 4 cards, 3 560s and a 1050. Thank God for undervolting. And I know you're gonna give me shit for using a 750 watt white power supply, but this is temporary. These cards are gonna be leaving this rig very soon. They're gonna be going in an open air rig with HP gold server power supplies, and this rig will be returned to its original intended purpose of casual gaming. So there. If you'd like one of these, I've got an affiliated link in the comment section down below where you can pick one up for yourself and have fun with it. You can smell the benzene. Well, it ain't neat, but should work. So here we've got our Lonely Rogue 1052 gig. It's MSI single fan model. Now this guy has been living on top of the case, kind of like this, with those little feet wedged down there to hold it in place. And you can laugh, but it works. It gets this guy running. I can't fit it in the case, clearly. So that's what I've been doing. Just wedge him in there and let him do his thing. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with our new ASUS Dual 580 4 gig. Also worth noting is we are going into the UBIT 4 USB 3 into PCIe Express X1 slot. So you can see that in there. We got one more slot, and that's what we're plugging into. That. Our riser, this is a version 006C. Got pretty good luck with these, so we'll keep using them. Again, as always, when you're putting these into the risers, you want to put the foot heading towards the back near where that white clip is, because that's what holds it in place. Put that in there, put it on, and do not forget to lock the riser in. And have a nice, stable, steady card. So, this being a more powerful card, we do have the normal 6-pin back here to power the riser. And then we have an additional 8-pin up here to power the card. Because these take a heck of a lot more power than the RX 560 does, or the GTX 1050. I think it's gonna work. Well, this may look totally jank-ass, but you know, that's the name of the game. We've got a nice little cowlick up top for signaling victory or surrender. But yeah, this is how to squeeze 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how to squeeze 5 cards into a micro ATX system. This looks so dumb, but it works. So let's power it up, and I can't say it works yet because I haven't tried it. Let's power it up and make sure it works. But yeah, look at that. How jank can you get? Okay, part of me did not think this was going to work. Just because of the number of cards and the fact that this is an AM3 system. But I open up Device Manager, and there it is. RX 580, along with 3 560s and 1 1050. It works! And again, I can't help but laugh at how ridiculous this looks. This is overpopulation. 100%. But, like I said, this is only temporary. I'm going to order another open-air rig, get these all put in a more beautiful fashion, much more like its brother up here, the jank-ass rig. So let's fire up some nice hash and run some benchmarks. I'll be back and we'll see what we get. Alright, benchmarks are done, so I'm about to fire it up for the first time. I'm going to run the 580 by itself just to see what we get on that individual card. Then I'll just fire the whole system up. But yeah, it looks like in terms of the benchmarks, Kryptonite V7's the big winner. So we'll see if that's what it jumps to and if that's what it starts. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. Alright, Kryptonite V7, or Monero 7, I assume that's Kryptonite V7. What the f do those warnings mean? I'll give it a second. Alright, well that does that. We can see I've got a 1500 on the core clock and 2100 on the memory clock. I may be able to go a little higher on the memory, but I maxed it out when I first booted it up as a test and it blue screened, so. Off the bat, 321.4 hashes, 48 cents a day. We'll see if it creeps any higher. And it is June 26/June 27th, 2018. So Bitcoin isn't doing real good right now, so back to 46 cents. So we're probably hovering around 46 to 50 cents a day on this guy. So, alright, well, it works. Like I said, it's a crazy setup. It doesn't look all that good. It looks terrible, actually, but, you know, the card's running, and we're getting some Satoshis, and we're mining the dip. That's all we can really do. We're going to mine the dip, and as I've said a few times, I'm going to get another open-air frame to put these AMD cards into, because this just ain't going to work. And I know that Rickshaw Tom would like to play video games again at some point in the near future, so I will get working on that as part of the next project. So I'm going to fire the rest of the cards up, and I'm going to go to bed. But for now, and for later, this has been Crypto for the Caffeinated. I'm Eric the Red, your host with the most. Stay caffeinated, stay mining, mine the dip. Good night.